Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I did not drop the ImageWriter coming down the stairs. It's right there, and you can hardly see it. I dropped my SD card reader, and now I need to find my gaff tape so I can tape it closed, because it's... every time I drop it, it falls into 3 pieces and then breaks more, too. Maybe I need a new SD card reader. Alright, let's see who has dropped into the chat. We have Jack68K. Howdy, Jack. We have Sadmac. Hi, Sadmac. We have Kibbs with Retro. Hey, Kibbs. We have Mac84 Steve. Tell him you've got a printer on your stream, and he's there if it's an ImageWriter. We have Adam McGee. Hi, Adam. We have Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Hi, Dave. We have I80386SX. Hi, Jesse. We have Starbuck Tech. Hi, Jason. We have Joe's Computer Museum reminding me that I am late. Hi, Joe. Gutbomb reminding everyone else it's just in time. Hi, Gutbomb. We have K-Mac Vintage. Hi, Will. We have Garth Beagle. Hi, Garth. Yes, and let's see here. Whoop, the chat just moved. We have Everything is Broken Garage. Hi, Ryan. And we have 2K Compliant. Hello, welcome. Oh, and we have David Starbuck. Hi, David. Yes, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications, because I got plenty of weird and wacky computers, like whatever that thing might be, that you might see in the future. Or even maybe just Microsoft Assembler with a stuffed cat on top of it. Who knows? Anyways, I do have a coffee goal, so you can check out the link in the description below. Hi, Jeremy, welcome. All right, so what do I have on the bench? I have one Apple IIe, and I just realized I forgot to bring something downstairs. Okay. Well, I have an Apple IIe, and I will... Yes, I forgot to grab the box that had my other memory card in it, because I pulled my what is that, RamWorks 2 card out. I was going to put a different card in. So at the moment my Apple IIe only has 64K of RAM in it, and I don't know if that's enough memory to run the program that would have been included with this Street Electronics AlphaBits 2. So I bought this on eBay, the place where I buy things I later regret. Yes. Notice it says printer/modem. Also why it has a buffer chip you can install, which I do not have, and 2 memory chips, which once I get the memory chips that Adam's going to send me, I can at least put the memory on it, but I need the buffer too. I have a post to the Apple II Cards Facebook page to see if we can figure out what the buffer chip is or was. Adam says printer card should be in slot 1. Oh, why must Apple do things like this? But I also want to use it as a super serial card, which means that needs to be in slot 3. Doesn't it? I don't know. Anyways, this thing is probably misconfigured, because I don't know if this was configured for a printer or a modem. And let's see here. And let's see here. Oh, something. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, there's lots of things going on in the chat. I might need to catch up here. Oh, yeah, Gut Bomb. Okay. Yes, the comments in the chat after I mentioned that I had dropped the SD card reader. No, actually, Gut Bomb, I will demonstrate to you that hold on one moment. Gut Bomb is doubting that I have the miniature SD card reader that he gave me that I forgot about in my quest to bring everything downstairs that I needed, and now I'm looking like a fool because I can't find the SD card reader that I know I put in one of these drawers when I found it the other day. Okay, I guess Gut Bomb's right. I've certainly lost it, and it'll show up next Tuesday probably. Yeah, I forgot that I had that one down here. Of course, then again, I don't know where I've put it, so maybe it's good I brought the other one downstairs. Adams used an ImageWriter one as a doorstop. Mac84 says, I enjoy seeing your basement slowly fill up with junk or treasures. Yes, well, let me go back to Justin Cam because I'm talking. There we go. Let's see here. Jack says, Justin has a while before his basement looks like yours, Steve. Steve says, it happens faster than you think, doesn't it? Oh, no. Jack said it happens faster than you think, doesn't it? Steve says, I give him until spring. Yeah, thanks. Gutbomb says, have you received any interesting mail recently? Yes, I have, and I'll unbox that probably Tuesday because I already had the Apple IIe on the bench. 0 card in slot 1 or 2, nothing in slot 3. Oh, that's right. I meant slot 2. I might have actually had that card in the wrong slot. I think I had it in slot 2. Maybe I'll put it in slot 1 since I may have a printer on it. I'll probably bring the box down. Jack says, I'm looking at the list of things AlphaBits made. What on earth is the Cricket? I don't know. The only thing I know that they made is the AlphaBits card here. And the only reason I found that is because I was looking for serial cards. Anyways, as I joked with Gutbomb yesterday, I came home to find a Mad Dog in my mailbox, and I let it out. So, okay, now it's going to bug me what I did with that little micro SD card reader that Gutbomb sent me, because I know it's here somewhere. It's probably in the drawer just under something. Anyways, yeah, I got to go back upstairs and grab the RAM card I was going to install in this. Because I kind of given up with trying to figure out how to configure this RGB card to work with a RGB to HDMI because the timings are like slightly off from a normal CGA monitor. So I'm like, okay, that's just ridiculous because I have it on good authority that there's about to become a really nice VGA adapter come available for the Apples, and why would I want to go to CGA when I could just go to VGA? So much easier to deal with. But yeah, I forgot the RAM card. Jesse says, speaking of Mad Dogs, I have 3 to deal with. All right, well, let me go run upstairs real quick and grab the 2 boxes. And yeah, Kib says, yeah, let's see. Gutbomb says, I'm working on an RGB to HDMI literally right now. Joe smiles mischievously. And Kib says that tiny SD card adapter is floating. Yeah, it might be floating. It probably also got, like, it's probably mixed up with things like this. That's a HDMI to, like, mini HDMI adapter. Or this, the batteries I bought from Amazon, and then they've already pulled the listing, so that doesn't bode well. I'm wondering if I should even trust these batteries at that point if they pulled the listing. Or maybe that manufacturer just changed their brand name. Alright, it is going to bug me to no end where my little micro SD card reader went. Alright, let me go upstairs and grab those 2 boxes. I'll be right back. Hopefully I don't, like, drop or knock anything else over. Oh, here's my gas tape. Oh, and I think here's the... Oh, yes. That might have been the cable I was looking for. And yet it's not the cable I need. Alright. Why not? I'll, Alright, let me, make a quick adjustment to this shipping box real quick. While you continue to stare at the Apple IIe, because you never know when my Apple IIe might start to misbehave. Oh, there's nothing to be scared about, Kibbs. It is a totally normal item Joe is working on. Totally normal. I'm probably not convincing the audience. Alright, well... I mean, literally, I had a mad dog to let out of the mailbox. So Jack says, the Cricket is a unique Apple IIe compatible peripheral with natural and robotic voice, sound effects, stereo music, and an onboard clock. Well, now I want one because it talks. Jesse says the batteries are probably fine. Okay, oh yeah. Sadmac says, poke them with a multimeter. Yeah, I will. All geeks poke CR2032s with a multimeter. Kib says, basically the Cricket is a sound card with a potential Varda bomb on it. So, more dangerous than a normal sound card, but less dangerous than a bad news Varda board. Got it. I'm glad you're calmer, Kibbs. Jack says, what a weird peripheral. I wonder how many of them are floating around out there. Probably not many, but maybe if we get one to the right person, they can clone it. Although, I bet those sound chips are hard to come by these days. Alright. Alright, Gut Bomb. I'm going to open it because I went upstairs to grab it. So, notice, it says handle with care, fragile. And it says Mad Dog on it, so... At least it's probably not bees. Well... Also, I'm trying to open the packing tape without revealing addresses, which actually I think are off screen anyways. Alright, there we go. And what do we have in here? Oh, we got packing peanuts. Oh, looky here. Oh, it's even gift wrapped. It's polka dots! Woo! I know what I've got. All right, I know what I've got here. It's got polka dots on it. I know what I got. Which, by the way, check out Joe's new line of merch on his jcm-1.com store. All right, thank you, Gut Bomb. It is a Mad Dog multimedia rewriter, CD rewriter. Excellent. Oh, and you know, looking at this label, I think this was made by Acer. All right. So if you haven't gotten the idea yet with all the Mad Dog things I've bought recently and now received, I'm going to do a Mad Dog build. All right. So thank you, Gut Bomb, for sending that along. You can check out Joe's link, the Linkadoodle in the Thingamadoodle. And all right. I will put the serial card into slot 1 where it probably actually belongs. Oh, I forgot to check the jumper settings first. Oh my, how will I ever set the jumper settings for such a obsolete card? I have the manual. Unfortunately, the auction I bought this from did not include the disc that came with this, but it had the manual. And no, I've already looked in here to see if it mentions what chip the buffer chip is, and it does not say, other than contact Street Electronics to order the kit. Yes, here, it's the buffer kit. This is an optional set of 3 special chips, which can be ordered directly from Street Electronics. These chips allow you to store up to 5 pages of text with the 16K option or 20 pages with the 64K option. You can use the order card or call direct. All right, let's see here. Setting the AlphaBits to switches. So in slot 1, as a printer interface. Oh, it looks like to use this as a printer interface, I need to put this in slot 1. So without the buffer kit, I need to switch 1 through 1 4 needs to be off, on, on. I suspect that's probably already correctly set. Yep, off, on. And switch 2 for the ImageWriter should be on, off, on. On, off. Okay, I need to change the last one. So what is on, off? Let's see what printer they were using. On, off is an ImageWriter 2. Ah, interesting. Very interesting. Unfortunately, I do not have the cable to connect this card to an ImageWriter 2. Okay. Well, this is easy enough. All right. On, off, on. I believe what that just did. So the first 2 switches, I don't know what they do. But the 3rd and 4th one, I think, is baud rate, and it set it to 2400 baud. Looks like for the ImageWriter 2, it works at... No. Yeah, for the ImageWriter 2, it works at 9600 baud. Oh, that's data format. Okay. Oh, evening, RetroMac UK. So anyways, there we go. Oh, now I really want one of those crickets because it's Varda free. All right. Oh, hi, Nick. Welcome. Yeah, Nick says, I know what I got boxes. Pure class. All right. So I have now configured the AlphaBits card for the ImageWriter that I have no idea if it even works. Okay. Always make sure that your printer is both turned on and selected before trying to use the AlphaBits 2 as a printer port. Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay, I think we can, I think I can set the manual to the side now. All right, I've got that configured. All right, so which memory card am I going to install in the Apple IIe? At least until I can get my hands onto one of the new memory cards from what's the trying to remember the shop name. Anyways, I have a Meg 80Z card, and this has, as you might imagine from the part number, 1 whole megabyte of memory on it. And notice, even though the Apple IIe is backwards from me, I did install the card correctly. Actually, the cool thing about this Meg 80Z card that I have, it has the box, it has the owner's manual, it has the original disc, which I need to archive at some point, and it has some sort of an addendum. Oh, that's the software manual. All right. Kind of cool. All right, so there we go. I think first up, I'll probably run Computer Inspector. I think Computer Inspector has a printer test. Which means, before I do that, there's something that I need to do. Dun, 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 dun. Retro Tech Chris was here, he would probably recognize the handwriting. So, this is my ImageWriter. Steve probably now recognizes this as an ImageWriter. Yes. No other characters before or after it. It's an ImageWriter, and I have no idea how you're supposed to actually use this. It's got that little cover. It's got this cover. It's actually, everything is backwards from me, so it's going to be hard to plug in. Oh, yeah, I think Steve knew I'd have an ImageWriter. It was in the thumbnail. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a slight issue. I'm going to need a second power cord. All right, well, I will just borrow this power cord. Oh, no, I will not be borrowing that power cord. That was a Mickey Mouse power cord. All right. Let me see if I can find another power cord, because I just realized I have to plug it in somehow. There we go. And I know you can't see the ports, but, well, I got a little table geometry problem here. All right, so I'm going to plug the printer in. And let me get the serial cable that came with that printer. Yeah, I do have an ImageWriter too, if anyone's wondering. I do not have the cable to plug it into the Apple IIe. I do, however, have a cable that I can plug this ImageWriter into a Macintosh. For whatever good that would do. All right, we already have people in the chat wishing for smoke. You know, y'all know that's not very cool. But it could happen. It's the truth. It's still not cool. All right. Magic smoke print. Well, let's see what happens. All right. Okay. Finding the switch here. All right. Power is going to, the printer is going to receive power, but I don't have the power switch on in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Nothing yet. And I'm going to hit the power button. Yeah, Steve says it's an ImageWriter. It'll be fine. Joe says, you can smoke that apple too and it'll still work. Things are tanked. Yes. Oh, hey Mac, this printer didn't come from eBay and neither did this apple too. And there we go. Steve was right. I got a paper error and I got a paper error, but that's probably because of some like silly goofy reason like I don't have paper in it. Gosh. Things so demanding. I mean, I want to use my printer without paper. You're being mean, ImageWriter. Just print on the platen. Mac, Steve says, add paper and do the self-test. All right, let me see if I have some paper. That's not the polka dots paper that will probably not feed through very well. Oh, surely I've got like some piece of paper here that I can reuse. Oh, here we go. Ah, yes. It's the instructions for installing the keyboard, my Mac Effects keyboard into my Apple IIc. All right, let's see here. I cannot really tell which of these switches is for form feed paper and which is for normal paper because the icons are both like very similar. Jesse says, Jesse says, when you have to drive 2 hours one way to put paper in a printer, you know you're a seasoned IT person. Ah, kind of hoping that. Oh, there we go. Maybe now I can figure out how the paper goes in without having to go find the video on Steve's channel of how to put paper in an ImageWriter. Oh, I bet I actually need this roller in that position for non-tractor feed paper. Oh, looky there. The paper error turned off. All right, so Jack says I can buy tractor feed paper for a terrible price on the site of regret. Yes. Yes, I can. I almost did it once, too. When I found it at not such a terrible price. Okay, so how do you do the self-test? Is this like you hold the, like, probably both buttons and turn it on? No, of course not. That'd be too easy. Oh! Thank you, Martin. Uh, All right, trying to figure out how to run the self-test without searching the web. Steve's probably like, who doesn't know how to run the self-test? Okay, hold down form feed and press power. Oh, continue to hold until you want it to stop. Start with it off. Okay. Oh! I released form feed and it was still printing the self-test. Also, I think I call this a failing result. That Steve says, music to my ears. 2K compliant. Oh, the sound of heaven. Yes, thank you, Martin. I figured that was you. All right. Yes, Martin is my latest coffee subscriber. So, yeah, links in the description if you'd like to get in on that. When I do manage to get scripted videos done, you can get them early, and tiers start at $1, which means I get like 3.5 cents. But actually, it's more like. Actually, I think on coffee, I think it's like 60-some cents. Patreon for $1, it's less. But I know how inflation is a bummer, so therefore, if that's all you can afford, you can still subscribe for $1, and for at least the foreseeable future, I'm going to leave the dollar option up, even if I only get like 50 to 65 cents. But no worries. Yeah, I'll probably put that toward. Well, actually, I have some parts I need first. Then I'll go to finding tractor feed paper at a horrible price on the site of regret. I now know what the T-shirt needs to say. I bought it on the site of regret, and with the site of regret in the alternating color scheme. Oh, you didn't see that. Yes, there actually is some life left on the ribbon. However, I may have actually not had the paper engaged correctly. So let me try that again. All right. Form feed, turn it on. Wait a minute. Okay, hold down form feed. Oh, the clamp isn't down. Read the manual you posted. All right. Okay. Let's like completely read the manual that Steve posted. The next 2 sections describe how to load pin feed paper into your ImageWriter. If you plan to use roll paper or single sheets of paper without pin feed holes, skip to the section entitled Loading Plain Paper. All right. Loading plain paper. All right, to load paper without pin feed holes, turn the power on and then off. This moves the head as far left as it will go. Leave the power off. Open the clear plastic lid on top of the machine. Set the release lever to the pin feed rear position. Okay. Grasp the roller shaft by both ends and pull it forward. Okay, that's this metal piece. You're using a roll of paper. Okay, that's not applicable. Push the end of the paper down into the slot in the paper cover. Oh, probably would help if I put the paper cover on. Okay. So, push the end of the paper down into the slot in the paper cover, feeding it around the platen as you would a typewriter. Typewriter. How quaint. Alright, when the paper comes up in front of the platen, move it sideways to the location you want. The red rings on the roller shaft indicate the limits of the printer's line of type. Oh, there we go. Those red rings. Okay. There we go. There's a red ring there and there. That would explain why it was not, I was printing off the page. Alright. Snap the roller shaft shut. Okay. There we go. That looks like that'll be nicely centered. Alright, set the release lever to the friction forward position. Alright. So now, I hold form feed and turn it on. Well, I thought it would run a self-test. Oh, I'm printing on Joe's instructions. Well, Mac84 says page 17. Well, Joe, the awesome thing is then I can probably ask you for the document so I can print another copy if I need to. 17. Oh, that was for the manual. Self-test take 2. Jack says Steve is very passionate about the proper use of ImageWriters. Joe wrote the instructions I'm printing on. Well, it'll be a unique Steve Jobs rare set of instructions now. Jack asks, was there a sheet feeder attachment? Steve says, I believe for the Model 2 and LQ, but not the original. K-Mac says, looks like Walmart online sells tractor feed paper. Okay. Steve says, got to be careful with that cheap tractor feed paper. It's very thin and will get mangled. Jesse says, office supply stores still have it too. Excellent. I'm going to go into Staples next time I feel like driving down that far, and I'm going to walk in the door, and I'm going to ask the first employee, where's your tractor feed paper? And if they tell me go to Tractor Supply Company, I'm going to die laughing. Retrotech or Die says Staple has 18 pounds tractor paper that I've had good success with. Excellent. Oh, Jack says next business day delivery. Okay. Excellent. Now, I just want to run this self-test. Somehow. Alright, let me go look at this manual. I know Steve told me to hold the form feed button down, but that doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Testing your printer, page 23. Alright. Let me see if it says anything about if you hold form feed down when you turn your printer on and it doesn't do anything. Alright, run the self-test. Yeah. Alright. So it says to run the self-test, load paper and ribbon. Okay, plug the printer into power. Turn the printer on. The select light also comes on. Press the select button once to turn it off. Okay. I don't know why I had to press it twice. The manual says press once. I had to press it twice. Press the line feed button a few times. Make sure the paper feeds smoothly. Okay, it's definitely feeding smoothly now. Turn the power off. Press form feed. Turn it back on. Then release the button. Alright, fine. Okay. And it won't run the self-test. Huh. Uh, Steve, I'm doing that. See? Okay, turn printer off. Hold form feed. Let me move it so you can see. I'm pressing and holding form feed. And I'm confirming the button sounded like it pressed. And I'm going to turn it on. And I'm still holding. 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 Steve says my chat was 5 minutes old. Sorry. I'm still holding it. It's not printing the pattern. Oh, Steve says turn select off. Okay. And now I think I turn it off. Press and hold form feed. And turn it on. And select. Well, it seems like the button works. I mean, line feed works. Form feed works, but I didn't exactly want to form feed, but, well, there, I just demonstrated it works. Alright, well, what's loading a sheet of paper among friends? I mean, maybe there's a problem with the buttons. Steve says test it on the Apple II instead. Alright. Alright. Printer test. Normal text printing. Okay. I think we can. Please prepare the printer in slot 1. Press spacebar to continue. Well, I had the Apple II off, Thomas. It did just actually print. It's not feeding right, though. Oh, you can't see that, what it did. Well, I'll show you here in a moment, because I'm going to do the printing with control codes. Please enter the control code you wish to test with your printer. I don't know. Enter a caret when you're done. Okay. Yeah, they're correct. Alright, whatever. They're actually not correct, but... Oh, Steve says the rollers are only 40 years old. Yeah, that, Anyway, so what did it do? Well... Wow, that is really entirely blown out, and there's no way you're going to see that at all. There we go. It did print. The roller has some life in it, but it's not. I don't think the line feed is going quite far enough. It's kind of mangling everything together. Oh yeah, and yeah, apparently when I hit the return key for control codes, well, that wasn't a control code, so I guess it did nothing. Yeah, Jack says, oh yeah, the instruction it said, Nick says, print shop is a better test than the self-test anyways. I have no banner paper. Staples closed 51 minutes ago. Steve says, happy noises. Jack says, wow, that would be a compact printer if it fit in slot 1. Sad Mac says, it printed asterisk. Asterisk, but not legibly. Yeah. But it did print, so that must mean my serial card works. Woohoo! I'm actually now thinking there's little... Oh, hi, 1-bit! I don't know that there's much use of me going to go get that program that came with it because it's not going to print correctly at all. But the serial card works. Also, I guess just to show, because... Alright, press spacebar to continue. Alright, let's see, escape to main menu. So I did put that memory card in it, and... we'll run the RAM test here. It won't take that long to run. It's only a 1 megabyte card. Yes, the Meg 80Z. Jack says, you could detour into making this an ImageWriter repair stream. Well, I could, but I don't have any parts. Well, that's not entirely true, but the only parts I have are also would have a 40-year-old roller in it. If only I had the cable to plug this Apple IIe into an ImageWriter 2. Maybe if I ask Steve really nicely, he might tell me where I can get one. Unfortunately, I don't have that cable. I do have the cable to connect a Mac 128, 512, or plus to an ImageWriter 2. However, I don't have a Mac 512 or plus that's in working condition right now, so that's a bummer. Jack says those cables are everywhere. Yeah, everywhere except my basement. 1-bit says the paper gets really warped and structurally weak in the black heavy area. Yeah. Oh, 1-bit Fever Dreams is writing a journal entry. I missed the first entry, the first part of it. 1-bit says, month 1 of using an ImageWriter 2 in 1986, printing a Mac Paint drawing with a black background, getting scolded for it. The paper gets really warped and structurally weak in the black heavy area. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I had parts, I guess I need to get some rollers. I wonder if anyone makes replacement rollers for these printers. Or I wonder if there's any way to rejuvenate said rollers. Steve would probably know. Oh yeah, this roller that you can't see. But... Steve says, all I'm hearing is excuses for you not fixing your Macs or other things. You got hours to burn. Get to it. Now, Steve. I'm only making excuses for why I'm not going to fix the ImageWriter tonight, because I need parts to fix the ImageWriter. No one ever said that I didn't have something else to work on tonight. I just don't have parts to fix an ImageWriter tonight. Because I'll have to figure out how to rejuvenate the rollers. Yes, I do have other things to work on. But at least I know my serial card works. And the ImageWriter 99 3/4 works. I mean, if you kind of overlook the fact that it's like the lines are too close together. I wonder if the tractor feed paper would feed any better, because that's going to get fed in by the pin rollers. Although, I bet there's a rubber pad somewhere that gets involved with that. Yes, alright, so I guess I'll have to figure out how you fix the rollers on a ImageWriter. But it does work. Although, if I can remember what I did with the... What did I do with my other ImageWriter? Hold on. I'm not trying to remember if I brought it downstairs because I did not see it upstairs. Right, I see my two style writers. I guess we could see if I can find my parts ImageWriter, we can see if it works. But I gotta remember what I did with it. That's the only problem. Yeah, the ribbon even works, sort of. Now that, I think I've seen instructions online of how to rejuvenate the ribbons, so that I'm not as worried about. Jesse says, more apples on the live stream, please. Okay, don't worry. I do, though, have to move the ImageWriter. It does have to move. Sorry, ImageWriter. If I can remember what I did with the other ImageWriter. So, what's the next step here? Nick says it doesn't have to print well in order to print clip art from Print Shop. Joe says black ribbon is WD-40. Oh, you mean I gotta buy WD-40? Oh. I was afraid of that. Jax asks, how do you lose an ImageWriter? Easy. I put it somewhere where it's blending in with other beige. Thomas says MG rubber remove. Nick, I don't have Print Shop. Now Q, 5 people putting in the chat the link to it on archive.org. All right. If we have time after some of the other things I had to work on, we'll come back to Print Shop. How's that? In the meantime, I'm sure at least someone's going to put it in the chat just because they want to see Print Shop. Or I can search for it later. All right, let me grab the... Okay, now that is really bugging me what I did. All right. Because the thing is, upstairs I have a ImageWriter that's Jeremy's. And I have an ImageWriter that's Steve's. Oh, darn it! I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. Oh, I bet the one I marked for Steve is actually the spare ImageWriter. I can hear Steve making a short right now. Oh, you! Oh, rubber renew. Oh, rubber renew. Okay. Jack says, check under the MASM box. Jesse says we did manage to lose an Oki Data ML320 for 6 months. I mean, it does happen. Joe says all ImageWriters are Steve's. He just doesn't know it yet. Sadback says you're not wrong, Joe. Joe says rubber rejuvenator, rubber renew. All right. Okay, so what do I have? Which actually you probably couldn't see very well. So I have the 2 floppy drives that I was looking at Tuesday. The 2 TIAC Super 5 drives. So Adam told me, Adam suggested that I run the write protect test on them, which I forgot to do Tuesday. So I have these disk drives here. And Jack says it could be in your ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah. Funny. Funny. All right. So there's a write protected disk, and here's a blank non-write protected disk. Okay. So Adam said, for troubleshooting, asked if I had bothered to run the write protect switch test, which let me do that on the disk in drive 2, which it says the write protect switch is currently off, even though I don't have a disk in it. Oh, that's interesting. With no disk in the drive, the write protect switch is off. All right, it says insert a write protected disk. Press spacebar. The write protect switch is currently on. Okay. Let me try that test again with a disk in the drive when I start the test. All right, write protect switch. Drive 2. Write protect switch is currently off. Okay. I'm also noticing these TAC drives seem to like spin when I change disks. I didn't know that Apple II drives had a like disk change line. I wonder if this clone disk controller is actually a I wonder if this clone disk controller is actually a special disk controller. Because when I open the disk drawer, the lever on the drive, and pull the disk out, I hear the the spindle spin. And then when I put the disk back in the drive, even before I close the lever, I hear the spindle spin for a little bit. That is like really weird. So that's drive 2. So let me run the test on drive 1. Write protect switch is currently on because that's my computer inspector. Oh, some drives spin when open close. Okay. Well, it must just be the clone drives work differently than the Apple drives. Okay, so Adam, if you're listening, these TAC drives are correctly detecting the write protect switch state. So at least that is a little bit more information to try to troubleshoot what's going on. Unfortunately, I still haven't found my disk 2 controller that takes ribbon cables, so I can't actually plug these drives into another disk controller. I'm also going to. So basically, these clone Apple II drives that I bought, they seem to be okay with reading disks. You can boot the computer with them, with every disk I have, but they will not format a disk. I mean, I think the disk I'm trying to format is a good disk, but I don't know. Maybe it's a bad disk. What's the issue going on? My clone Apple II drives will read disks, but will not write them. But I just checked. The write protect switch is working correctly. If you run the computer inspector drive speed test, which I'm going to do with, I'll do it with drive 2. I do not have a disk alignment program, and I don't think the disk alignment is the problem. Joe, I can't find my disk 2 controller card. So no, I have not tried a different disk controller card. So if I run the general operation test on the disk and drive 2, I get the disk drive appears to be having problems. It's like it can't write. I don't think the disk alignment's the problem because... Oh, and hi, RetroFox. Didn't say hi when you joined. I don't think disk alignment's the problem because both of these drives will boot from my entire stack of Apple II disks. They will boot from every single one of these disks. However, the moment you try to write something, they will not write. Which probably at the moment is pointing to there's something wrong with this disk controller card. And I have not found my controller. I am quite honestly not even sure. I might have lost it. I wish I could say my disk 2 controller card's in the ultrasonic cleaner. Because the problem is these drives have ribbon cables, and the only controller cards I have I have 2 of these controller cards. Which, yeah. Joe says, you have bad drives, a bad card, or bad cables. My money is on the controller card. Well, I also do not have any other Apple II drives with ribbon cables on them, because my only other Apple II drives are... And I have one more 5 1/4 inch drive exactly like that one. It's sitting on my bench here. So I have a Duo disc. I have that Apple II drive. And in fact, you can just barely see it. Hey Joe, that's the one you sent me because it's got the green marker around the Apple logo. And then I got this other one here. But the thing is, I can't plug those Apple drives into this controller card. What about a floppy emu? Well, I can plug a floppy emu into it, but you could maybe rule out the card and cable if you have one. Well, the problem is if it's the floppy drives, then tell me what fault can happen with the floppy drive that will it will read but won't write. All right, I'll try the floppy emu route. Hold on, I gotta switch firmware on it. I wish I had a second floppy emu so that I didn't have to keep swapping firmware between the 2 modes. All right, let me see if I remember how to change the... All right, copy, paste. Because I know my floppy emu's in Mac mode. All right. I don't know if anyone knows the big mess of wires, folks, but you know what would be really cool is if you could actually have all 3 firmware images on the SD card and go into a settings menu and just tell it which one you want to run so that you don't have to like pull the card and do the firmware file shuffle. That'd be really cool. All right, I think that's drive 2. Okay, so I'm going to... Because actually, the latest version of the Flappy Emu firmware, which I don't actually have, I think they added a feature where you can get to the settings menu without having to restart the thing. Which, at that point, why can't I then, like, give the 3 firmware files a name go to the settings menu and tell it load the the thing. Do the thing. Alright, I don't remember. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Okay. We're updating. Also, okay, so the floppy emu is right now drive 2, which means I need to put a disk in. Yeah, right now it'll only read the firmware from one file name, but if you could, there was a feature where like you could call the disk 2 firmware file like FEMU2 and maybe the smart port one, I don't know, FEMU smart.bin, and then maybe the Mac one FEMU mac.bin, and then the menu you could tell it which set to load. I mean, that would be really cool. All right. All right, let me see if I've got a... Oh, here we go. Blank Pro dot blank DOS 3.3 disk. Okay, that should be good. All right. Disk drive test. Drive speed. Drive 2 is where my floppy emu is right now. Insert a blank or used disk. All right. Please remove the write protect sticker from this diskette. Say what? Yeah, I've got Rev C. Yeah, you can do it at startup, but the latest firmware lets you do it anytime. All right, system info. That's not what I want. Hold on, I'm trying to... Apple II 5¼ inch floppy, that's right. All right. Yeah, it's only changing between disk 2 and smart port. Well, for some reason, it thinks the floppy emu is write protected. All right. Why would it think the floppy emu is write protected? Or is this disk image write protected? All right, let me mount the floppy emu. Let me see here. Blank. No, it's not write protected. I'm checking it. It is not. Windows is not reporting it as read only. It is a DO file. Oh, I bet that's it. I bet that's it. I bet it's write protected not because it's marked as write only. I bet it's I bet it's was read only because I bet the extension .do is for a read only disk. RetroFox asks, there's no jumpers on this card that would control that, right? There are jumpers on this card. However, I haven't the foggiest clue what they do. Oh. DOS order. Oh. Never mind. This says it's probably not. RetroFox, I created a copy of that image I was trying to use. And it also says it's write protected. Okay, 1bit's going to check the manual on the website. I've tried 2 disk images. Granted, the second one is a copy of the first one that I made, but the first one is not write protect on the SD card. So the second one shouldn't be write protect on the SD card. I mean, I guess I could maybe attempt the following. No, let me do this. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to, with the Apple IIe off, I'm going to unplug this controller here. And I'm going to plug that controller back in. I'm going to put the computer inspector disk into the Apple 5¼ inch drive that I have conveniently setting under these 2 drives. I'm going to plug the floppy emu coupler into the back of the Apple II drive. After plugging the floppy emu cable into it, I am then going to boot the same computer inspector, and I will reattempt that same test to see if computer inspector complains that the disk is write protected. Because if computer inspector does that, then it's probably the floppy emu, unless 1bit gets back to us. But if it works, then that's really beginning to point towards a problem with the items I purchased on eBay. I can plug the adapter in. There we go. Okay. yes, I have actually just daisy chained for this test. All right, drive speed. Well, that's a bit weird. Apparently, my floppy emu runs at 617 RPM. I guess I need to adjust its speed potentiometer. This is just a 5 1/4 inch drive controller, so the floppy emu can be after my other 5 1/4 inch drive. Yeah, that's weird. Well, that's not conclusive because uh, Gut Bomb, this is actually on my known working Apple II disc card that has the DB19 port on it. And I will demonstrate now that it is a working controller by... Yeah, I swapped disc controllers. I wanted to see what the Flappy Emu was going to do on the actual Apple disc controller. And sure enough, it's not complaining about being write protected, but it looks like the Flappy Emu is going to run too fast to run these tests. So now I'm going to run the drive speed on the actual Apple drive. And notice we are spot on. This is an actual physical floppy drive. Yeah. All right. General operation. It's actually running the test, which I believe this test is. This drive seems to be functioning properly. Joe says, called it, bad controller. Yeah, it would appear as if the controller card's bad. I wonder what's bad about it. Well, I guess I can... Joe, you can keep your money for now, as Jesse says. That one bit says, hot burning speed beats M.2 2280 drives. All right, well, I guess. All right, thank you, Apple II. You have done your civic duty for now, and you are temporarily relieved from bench duty. If I can find a relatively safe spot to put it. All right, I'm going to take a moment to, like, undangerify my immediate working space. So hold on for 1 moment, for a couple moments. Apple IIe is now safely sitting on top of the clone that's refusing to cooperate. And the ImageWriter is now safely, well, in a moment, will be safely sitting on the floor where it cannot fall. There we go. And now, let's take a closer look at this controller card and see if there is anything I can do with it tonight. All right, first of all, we have a mystery jumper. And the jumper is simply marked J4. And I have no idea what that jumper does, although it does appear as if the outer two pins are ground. And the inner two pins are going to, I think, these two resistors here. And those two pins are going to... Oh! Looks like those are going to two pins on the... Yeah, I think that's going to two pins on the 2708 EEPROM. In fact, it looks like it's like the top two pins, which I have a feeling that is probably going to switch between 13 and 16 sectors if I had to venture a guess. That is let's see, that is an AMD B2708. And the internet is having a very hard time coping with that part number. A very hard time. Well, that's address lines 6 and 7. Oh, wait a minute. There's some, Actually, I don't know if that's actually going to those two address lines. Let me pull the EEPROM out of the socket. RetroFox, the RPM... Okay, with the actual Apple controller, the floppy emu was running at 617 RPM. I think that was probably on the floppy emu, not the disk controller card. When I try the disk speed test with this controller, the disk speeds are all over the place. I'm going to pull this chip out to see if I can tell exactly which lines those are in. I don't... Okay, first of all, this chip is in a really awful socket. But I'm not going to let that deter me. All right. Second of all, I forgot to turn my multimeter off on Tuesday, but luckily it turned itself off. All right, so I think these two pins might actually go... All right. Well, one of those jumpers goes to this pin here, which, according to my diagram is like A8, because this is a VCC. So that's A8. No, that's A8 right there. This one's VCC. This is A8. And I got a direct connection between the one jumper and A8. And I bet this one is A9. Yep, and the other jumper is going to A9. Those are the high address lines on a 2708. So yep, that is banking in 2 halves of this EEPROM. Which I suspect is going to switch between 13 and 16 sectors. Thanks, Tom, for that product. I'll check that out later. And someone tagged me on the Discord, I think. Oh. 1-bit caught wind that I got Red Baron in a big box. Yes, I did. Got that today. No, the coupon was not in the box. Because believe me, if I get a Red Baron pizza coupon in a Red Baron big box, I will do an update video. Because I know LGR redeemed his coupon for a pizza several years ago. I will confirm that the no expiration date coupon is still valid. Joe says quarters, actually. I mathed wrong. Yes, probably quarter. Yeah. Well, but I suspect this chip is actually probably pulling double duty, because not only is it going to have a half for the 13 sector and half for 16 sector, most likely, it's going to be taking the place of both of Apple's both of Apple's proms. So yeah, quarters sounds right. VCC is going to be this topmost pin according to the diagram I found. I don't think my programmer actually supports this chip, even though I've put it in the socket. So this says 2708. It says it's an ace. The pins starting with pin 1, it's A7, A6, A5, A4, A3, A2, A1, A0, D0, D1, D2, ground, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, program, VDD, /CE, so that's going to be the chip enable that's active low, VEE, A9, A8, and VCC. So VCC is this topmost pin. And I don't think my programmer supports a 2708. It does not help when you launch the wrong program. All right. 2708. Get a 27C080. That's definitely wrong. This is a DIP 24. All right, let me see if there's any 2708s by any manufacturer. I bet it just doesn't even support it. All right, let me search the web. Oh, an easy to build programmer for those chips. What do you know? Oh, Thomas Armstrong sent me a board to build one of those, I think. And I never got around to getting the parts. Bummer. Well, I figured out what I need to read this chip. Well, actually, that's to program it. Ah, that's a programmer, not a reader. Never mind. Hmm. I just want to read it. I don't want to program it. Oh, all right. Let's see here. Read out 2708 on any EEPROM programmer. Oh, come on. Oh, this EEPROM requires negative 5 volts. You have got to be kidding me. Why did we do such diabolical things in the past? No, Joe. It's not like a 2716. This EEPROM requires negative 5 volts. That's what one of those 3 voltage rails is. It requires bias power. Pin 19 is 12 volts. Pin 21 is negative 5 volts. Oh. Mm. Joe says, just think negative 5 thoughts. Well, I won't be reading this EEPROM out because it requires voltages I am not willing to give it. Which means I guess I'll never know if it's actually good or bad. No, I'm going to. Basically, the instructions I just found tell you to do something wild and wacky, like take an old power supply, bend legs on your EEPROM, solder wires to those legs, and then you got to power up the power supply before you power up the programmer. And you, yeah, that sounds dangerous. Ah, Joe says my Lisa motherboard backplane is nearly rebuilt. Yay! Yeah, so I can't read out that EEPROM. What would be the chance that this card is in 13 sector mode? No, it couldn't be in 13 sector mode. Well, let me try changing this jumper, and I guess I'll connect the floppy emu to it. And because I think there's a DOS 3.2 image on the floppy emu. Thomas Armstrong says a 2716 is pin compatible for a replacement. Well, I don't know what has to go on that chip. I'll have to read it out to be able to even figure out what would have to be programmed on a new one. I don't know if it's bad. I was going to read it out just to see what was on it as a troubleshooting step, because it is the only socketed chip on this card. All the other chips are soldered, which kind of makes troubleshooting difficult. I mean, at least the good thing is this is a 74 LSO2. There's a chip that I don't even recognize the part number on. 9334? The 9334. I have no idea what that is. There's a 74 LS 373, 74 LS 05, 74 LS 194. There's a 7400. The 74 LS 194. And MC 3456. 74 LS 74. 74 LS 14. 74 LS 174. 74 LS 02. 74 LS 109. 74 LS 163. 74 LS 32. A 74 LS 08. And a 74 LS 123. One of these chips is going to be a 556 timer replacement, and I bet that's the MC3456. Of course, that's just a guess. 9334 is a buffer. Ah, nice. Unfortunately, none of those chips are socketed, so there's like no easy way to test these chips. And yet, it would seem like one of them is bad. Oh, Joe says actually the 9334 is an addressable latch, kind of like a 1 byte memory chip. But does the original Apple controller have one of those on it? Hmm. I mean, at least the good thing is this card seems to be in good condition, so that I would probably be able to desolder chips, but all these chip legs have been cut short, so putting them back into socket seems potentially problematic. One bit says a fuse is a 1-bit latch with a long reset process. Yeah. Wonder which of these chips might handle the right. Because I know this card's going to have extra chips on it to take care of the fact that they're using an EEPROM instead of PROMs. Let's see here. I got a picture of the Disc 2 card. It had a 74LS 174, 74LS 132. There's 2 PROMs, 74LS 05, a 9334. Okay, so that's common to both of them. A 74LS 323 and a 556. tempted to like put a little dot on the chips that are common with a Disk 2 controller if I can conclusively identify them all. Let me see here, an MC3456P. Bet that's going to be the... yes, the MC3456P appears to be a dual timer. All right, so that's going to be the 556 they used. All right, let me get a little marker. I'm going to preferably my blue marker. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to identify the chips that I think are the same as a Disk 2 controller, because at least those are... At least I can follow a Disk 2 schematic for help. All right, so the 9334 is on both cards, so it's going to be that one there. 74LS02. Is there more than one of those on this card? No, there are more than one, because... Oh, but a Disk 2 card doesn't have a 74LS02. Okay. So, I don't know what that's doing. Okay, so we've got a 74LS373. Okay, that does not appear to be on a Disk 2 card. 74LS05. Okay, there is one of those on a Disk 2 controller. Let me make sure there's not more than one of those on this card. Do not believe there is. So I think that is going to be one of the chips I want to look that's in common. So 194. No, there's not a 194. So don't have to worry about those. There's not a 7400, so they don't have to worry about that. That one I've already marked. 74LS74. Okay, I don't think... No, that's not what I'm looking for. 74LS... wait, that's the same one. Oh, 74LS174. Okay, that one is one I'm looking for. Okay, put a dot there. 74LS14. No, that's not what I'm looking for. 74LS02. No. 74LS109. No. 74LS32. Yes. 74LS163. No. 74LS08. No. 74LS123. No. You know, I think they used some different chips on this card, because I've only marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only marked 5 chips. And there are 6 chips that I'm interested in, so bummer. Yep, Joe says legally distinct design. Yep. They've replaced probably yeah, that's probably what they did. They probably replaced one of the chips with a compatible part, possibly one that didn't have quite the same pinout. So they could say, no, we did not copy your design. Even though bet I bet I know what's in that ROM though, that EEPROM though. But yeah, at least the hardware design's legally distinct. Because even there, that looks like the transistor that actually it looks like there's two transistors on a Disk 2 controller, and I only see one. Bet they replaced the other with one of these logic chips. Actually, there's three now that I look at it. No, Thomas, it's not a Franklin controller. It's made by MicroSci. MicroSci, 1981. Although, Thomas does have a possibly, while he didn't ask the question, he implied, could this be a copy of Franklin's controller? That, now there's an interesting question. Because if that's a copy of the Franklin disk controller, then I could pull up schematics for the card. Huh. Actually, I believe there's one of those on the Place of Regrets. Let me pull up the auction list so I can look at the photo. Uh, or, well, I didn't find it by searching for Franklin disk controller. So either it's sold or the person put Apple in the description because they knew that would help you find it. Although, considering I think I've seen that auction for quite a while, I suspect it hasn't sold. I suspect they just put Apple in the description to make sure people found it, even though it's a Franklin disk controller. Or maybe it sold today. Maybe I should search the sold listings. All right, hold on one moment. Adam says, I have Franklin and MicroSci analog boards and they are identical. Makes sense that the disk controllers are the same. Joe says, I have one of those controllers, I think, stand by. I'm trying to find a picture of the Franklin controller because now that Thomas asks if that's the Franklin controller, that looks almost, it's at least the right shape. All right, I'm trying to find it. I know I saw one listed and I'm having trouble searching eBay now because I guess eBay knows that I'm only using eBay for reference photos. So, of course, they don't want to just show me what I'm looking for. Well, eBay, if you'll show me what I'm looking for, I might watch it and buy it later. How do you know that I won't buy it? Oh, eBay could probably knows I'm not going to buy it this time. Because I don't really want a Franklin disk controller card because I don't have a Franklin at the moment. Not to say I'll never get another one, but I think if I do get another Franklin, it won't be the one that has the floppy drives built into the case because that is just so impractical to store. All right. I'm still. Oh, someone's got an Apple extended 80 column RGB card. Ah, Joe confirmed it's in my Apple II Plus. He just sent me a photo. There we go. I have the photo. Oh, of the identical card. Yes. All right, well, at least I do know that if I figure out this EEPROM needs replaced, at least I now know someone has that card. But yeah, sure enough, Joe has one of these cards. Okay. Cool. I'm still trying to figure out, though, if by chance it's the same as the Franklin card, because if that's the case, then I can use the Franklin schematics. Also, there's another generic Disk 2 controller that doesn't look like... It looks like it has the same chips as this one, but the layout's different. It is not... Oh, wait, it is branded. It's a Quentin Research. The seller wants much for it. It might be rare, and that the Quentin Research ones don't show up very often, but it's also not anything super amazing. All right. All right. All right. Let me go to... Oh, here we go. Finally found a photo. Oh, that is an awful photo. All right. So I got a photo of the Franklin Ace Disk Controller card. I finally found one. And it's not... Oh, there's a better photo. It's... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Actually, I think this is identical to the Franklin Disk Controller now that I look at the photo. I can't read a lot of the chips because the photo's blown out, but it's got the jumper, and the 556s are in the same place. I can tell that. The 7400s are in the same place. The 74505. Oh, yep, okay. That's the same. The 74LS 373. Yep. Okay, I can't read those two chips. 194. Looks like there's... Yep, two 194. Oh, yeah. Okay, I need the Franklin Ace Disk Controller schematics. I think they are the same card. Not a very good photo, but... Alright, I've seen enough that... And Joe found the auction I was looking for, probably. Yes. Oh, it's... Oh, that's a much better photo, and yes, they are the same. Thanks for finding that, Joe. I guess it did sell since I last looked at it. Interestingly enough, though, the Franklin Ace controller does have one glaring difference, and that instead of these, like, 4 resistors here, there's like a potentiometer. 2 potentiometers. So it's like maybe Franklin put the potentiometers there because they didn't know what values they needed, but when Microsoft made theirs, they knew what they needed, and they just put the resistors down to replace the potentiometers. I guess. Yeah, this is. In fact, the PCB is. By golly, I think the PCBs are the same. The traces are so close. I think MicroSci copied Franklin, or Franklin copied MicroSci. Yeah, Joe, I can't read internet and read chat at the same time. Either Franklin used MicroSci cards or MicroSci used Franklin cards, because that Franklin card is almost the same but not identical. Yeah. They are electrically identical, but the Franklin one says Franklin, but these are branded MicroSci, so same but not the same. Joe just found a MicroSci that has pots on it. Well, the thing is, Joe, I think the Franklin and the MicroSci use the same chip, so if I pull the schematic up, then I might be close enough to being able to maybe take a guess as to what I might need to desolder from this card and test. Maybe. If that makes sense. All right. Now, what I don't know is if I need the Franklin Ace 100 or 1000 reference. No, that's the wrong thing. Oh, yeah. I think that's the floppy controller from an Ace 100. And those are the worst schematics in the world. Oh, that's the motherboard schematics. Okay. The Franklin Ace 1000 used the same card. I'm looking at Frank's, like, Dave's old computers. Yeah. Not to be confused with Dave's vintage Apple Tech. All right. I think I know what I need to look for here. Ace 1000 technical reference manual. Let's see if the floppy controller's in here. Or maybe not. Well, maybe the schematics for this aren't. Oh, wait a minute. There's 74 LSO2 on this board. I'm looking at the Franklin Ace 1000 troubleshooting. There is. So the Franklin Ace 1000 technical reference says if you get an I/O error, that it's, because I think that's the problem. Because the symptom chart for the Franklin Ace 1000 Oh, wait. That might be wrong. Okay. Let's see. I'm going down the symptom chart. Let me check the chat. Yeah. Joe says the schematic should be... I got crackly audio again. All right. Let me fix the crackly audio. Okay. Hopefully that fixed the audio. Joe says, agreed the schematic should be identical for troubleshooting. Thomas says, these clones, I tell you. Joe says, Franklin Ace 100, probably. Actually, Joe just sent me the Franklin Ace 1000 technical reference open to a page. Oh, I'm looking at the same technical reference back in the troubleshooting section, starting on page 64, the symptom chart. Symptom chart, dead drive connected improperly. Well, that doesn't apply here. Dead drive connected properly. Well, that's not right. No boot disk OK. Well, it will actually boot. No boot. Let's see. Drive 1 keeps turning. It would be the 7400 chip. But it's not. It doesn't keep turning, so I don't think that applies. All right. If both drives turn on momentarily, then drive 1 turns on. Hit reset and drive 2 turns on. Okay, that's not that's not the problem. Drive will not write. Ooh, that does sound like the problem I'm seeing. It says on the controller, it'd be 74LS05 and 74LS109. All right. I'm going to draw a little question mark on those two chips. So the 74LS05, and then I'm going to go down the rest of the troubleshooting chart. So it'd be the 74LS05, which I believe is going to be this one here. I think there was only one of those. And 74LS109. There we go. That one right there. Okay. Let's continue down the symptom chart here, and then I'll double check the chat. All right. Next symptom would be both drives on. Okay, that's not the problem I'm seeing. If it was I/O error, which actually I don't think I'm getting an I/O error, but that would be the 74LS02. All right, I'll keep that one in mind. I don't think that's what I'm seeing. So let me go to the next page and just double check. I/O error when doing a knit. Volume mismatch when doing a knit. File cannot be locked. File type mismatch when doing copy. Nope. Cannot format destination disk. Well, actually, that would be the other symptom I'm seeing. And that also is the 74LS109. Okay, I've already drawn a question mark on that one. And the 74LS174. Actually, I'm going to draw a second question mark on the 74LS109. And let's see, where's the 74LS174? Oh, there it is. All right, so according to the Franklin Ace Technical Reference Manual, it could be one of those three chips. Now I'm going to look at the chat, and then I'll see what Joe sent me. Jesse says, unrelated, I just did the mother of eBay regrets. I bought a new old stock Western Digital 11600 hard drive. Nice. All right. So let's see here. The Franklin Ace troubleshooting technical manual says R1, R2 controller test. Connect a disk drive to the drive 1 position of the disk controller. Jumper the two left pins of J4 together. They must also be jumpered. Do not disturb the two right pins. They must also be jumpered together. Insert initialized diskette. Apply power to the computer. The computer will initialize, and the floating point basic prompt will be displayed. Oh, I can't follow these instructions because there's two problems. Although the first of the two problems isn't a big deal because I think I see where the the test points are, even though they're not labeled. But the second problem is there's no potentiometer on this board. But it does look like the other half of that EEPROM is possibly a diagnostic. Also, my oscilloscope is not on my bench right now. Was trying to clean it. Oh, here we go. Here's the analog board schematic. Wait a minute, where's the disk controller schematic? Oh, come on, Franklin. Why didn't you put the disk controller schematic in here? You put the analog board schematics. Yes, analog board for the other drive type. Ah, whatever. Okay. Yeah, there's no schematic in that document. Jack says, I predict that this process results in drawing a question mark on all of the chips. Yeah, probably. Probably very likely. I think the odds of that are increasingly growing. All right, so what am I going to do now that I have 3 question marks drawn on 3 chips that I have no idea if I have spares on hand? And because there's still like 45 minutes to go. I suspect this is a cost-reduced version of the controller board that does not include adjustment capability because it's cost-reduced. So, no need to let you adjust it later. It's cost-reduced. We're saving you money. I'm going to remove the chips with question marks on them from the board. And hopefully that does not turn this seemingly non-regretful purchase, into a regret. Thomas says everyone should have a. I'm presuming he means a Quadra 840 AV. Oh, no. Steve can totally own that one until he finishes fixing it. I gotta let Steve have something that he's known for. Adam says it's a generic clone of a microcyclone of a Franklin card. Yeah. All right. So while I let Claris warm up, I am going to all right. So and then just so that I remove the correct chips. Oh, there we go. Trying to move my heater. I got a little heater down at my feet. There we go. Move the heater back so I could put my feet closer to it. Because it's oh, it's now 51 degrees in this immediate vicinity of the basement. It's warmed up a whole 2 degrees over the period of the live stream. All right. So I'm going to first remove chip U10, which is the 74LS 109, because it's the one I drew 2 question marks on. And I did draw the question marks in the wrong place. This is actually the chip right here. Oh. I think there's legs bent over, so this might not be as easy as I thought. Although, the solder's coming out easily. Oh, that chip leg's bent over. Alright, at least this is easy to work on because there's no huge ground plane. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are grounds, but there's no huge ground plane. Yes, Joe and Adam both say moo in the chat because Claris is out to play. Actually, this is working pretty well. Famous last words before I start lifting every last trace. There is a chance I have a spare one of these chips, but I don't know what the chances are of that. I probably do have 16 pin sockets, though, so at least that's a good thing. All right. Wow, there is not much legs of the not much of these legs still sticking through the board. But it does appear as if I might have actually removed most, if not all, the solder. So there's that. All right, let me see. I think I've got. There we go. Thought I had a spudger on the bench. I might have to take a little bit of solder braid. Oh, hi, Sloopy. Oh, I think Claris might have to come back out and get a few more of these again. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. Very carefully. No, I don't think I've got it yet. Maybe I do. All right, there we go. The 74LS109 is out. It's the one I drew 2 question marks on. All right, let's test it. Will it 74LS109? That is the question. Yes, it's 74LS109s. All right. I'll put a socket there and reinstall it. All right. The second chip I had a question mark on is the 74LS174, which is right beside it. So I think I'll try zooming in a little better there. Justin Sloopy says, use the bitey nips and twist it sideways. Okay. We're probably going to have to translate that into the tool name because I don't get what you mean by bitey nips. Also, I'm trying to remove these to test them. If I was going to remove these to not test them, I would have probably just cut the legs. Because the thing is, if they're good, I'm probably going to have to reuse the chip because I don't think I have all three of these. Also, for anyone that might have just joined, I used the Franklin Ace troubleshooting chart to figure out which chips to remove and test because this controller is either their disc controller is a clone of this one or this one's a clone of theirs or something of the like. Except that I think Franklin actually socketed their chips. Oh, I think maybe I know what Sloopy was probably. Where did I put the ones I want? Oh well. Quite loosened yet. Alright. Oh, loose on that side. Oh, there we go. Alright, there we go. So 74 LS 174. I think I may actually have some of these. I would actually be surprised if I don't have 174s. And that one tests good. So I guess it comes down to the third one I marked, and that is the 74LS05. Twist the IC sideways to disconnect the solder strings, then it should fall out. You know, I tried that and it Well, almost did it. Oh, interesting. All right, I'll come back to that one. I have to add solder to that corner one. Okay, that is a really weird video. I don't know why all the rest of them are just coming out like nothing, and this one is being a jerk. Yeah, that one doesn't want to go. So you are going to go. All right, there we go. I think I made it go now. All right. That one there. All right. Oh, it is just that one there. Yeah, that one doesn't want to go for some reason. I think the VIA might actually be slightly undersized. Because it looks smaller than the rest. Well, not just falling out, but Yeah, it just it didn't want to come out. All right, so 74LS05, a Motorola one. Oh, I thought Motorola made good stuff. 7405. And ooh, interesting. Okay, so is this a 74LS05 non-standard or a 74LS05 OCOD? I guess it's a non-standard because it's an N. Okay, well that failed the test. Okay, it passes as a OC or OD chip. So bummer. All three of these chips are probably, well, they're testing fine, but I guess that doesn't mean they're working fine. So well, I guess that means I'm going to get to install some sockets and possibly remove some more chips. All right, let me see what I need. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 14 and 16 pin sockets. All right, let me see what I got. 16 pins I'm good on. I've got some 14 pin sockets too. Those tubes. Not those tubes. All right, I got 16 pins for sure. Thought I had 14 pins, so one moment. Four pins. All right, still looking for sockets. I thought after the last time I had to cut sockets down that I bought some 14 pin ones, but that appears to be not the case. Alright. No, I've got 20 pin sockets. And I bought a Blue Million 16 pin socket. How in the world did I not buy any 14 pin sockets? Alright, still looking for sockets. I am pretty sure I ordered sockets. I'm almost certain of it. Because I know how much I don't like cutting sockets down to fit. Yeah, this is probably the case of I thought I ordered them and I probably ordered something instead of 14 pin. I thought I ordered sockets, but apparently it looks like I did not. Yes, I did. Alright. Fine. Fine. Well, alright. I probably did order sockets. I just probably ordered either the wrong ones or not all the right ones. You can decide which is which. Yeah, apparently I forgot to order some. Why am I opening that? These are 16 pin sockets. I got like 16 pin sockets for days, apparently. Alright, so I can at least put 16 pin sockets on this board. At the moment, these are probably the most important ones to put on the board because there are two 16 pin chips I removed, but only one 14 pin chip. So Jesse says the AT&T, the Motorola receivers made for AT&T Uverse were part of the blooper reel. Oh, must have missed a comment. All right. Okay. Well, at least I got some sockets, and maybe if it takes me long enough to install these sockets, you'll not notice the fact that I run out of time to put a 14-pin socket on the board, and a 14-pin socket will magically show up. All right. All right. Make sure these are nice and level. All right. And yeah, those sockets look good. All right. I'll finish installing them. Then I'll put the chips on them. And then I will rack my brain some more on where I might have put the 14-pin sockets that I thought I ordered. Because I got 16-pin sockets, I got 18-pin sockets, I got 20-pin sockets. And it's probably my luck if I looked, I probably have 12-pin sockets somewhere. Although that's kind of really an odd size, but no. Not long enough. Probably making y'all nervous there, wasn't I? Jack says turn the cut. Well, I'll have to put the cut edge away from wherever the notch is, because otherwise then you run the risk of putting the chip in upside down. Although I think the notch is towards the top of the card, so maybe no one will never notice. All right. I think those look decent, except for that one there looks weird. Or maybe not. Alright. I think those two sockets are in. And so that I don't get these chips mixed up. This one goes in here. That's the one with 2 question marks. And this one goes there. I set them down on my bench in an order where I would know which one went where. I hope you all know that I really don't like cutting sockets and sticking them in because I know it's a cut socket. If I only had a little sandpaper, then maybe that one would be not evident. All right. Well, I guess maybe you won't really notice it. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have any expectations that the card works after doing that because this chip's tested good. I mean, I can see if by chance I have any spares that easy to get to. Actually I might have a disc controller card, an Apple disc controller card that's socketed. That's a spare card. I think at least 2 of those chips are. No, I trimmed it as you saw. I'll I'll order sockets when I can. All right. Okay. Let me clean the flux off the board. Oh, I don't know what it is outside, but I'm like probably just about to call the stream right promptly because oh, my thermometer on top of my desoldering station says it's 56 down here, but I think that's only true on top of my desoldering station. I definitely do not feel like it is 56 degrees warm down here. My hands are cold, my feet are cold. I'm going to end the stream like momentarily because there's not really much else I'm going to be able to do tonight. And unlike last Thursday, I do have to work tomorrow. course, now I'm trying to find my toothbrush to at least clean the flux off the board before I end, but what did I do with well, oh, well, I guess that's even more annoying. I can't find the. See, I started to clean my workbench on Monday. And now that means I can't find. Because I probably set the teeth brush aside to the side. Oh, here's one. Okay. Not the one I was looking for, but it'll work. I also at least clean my. Alright, there we go. Alright. Yeah, they're calling for snow here this weekend. Probably enough snow that it'll be annoying. Yeah, Jesse's like, oh, yep. Yep, thank you. Yep. So at least now I've cleaned the flux off the board, which is probably a good stopping point, because nothing I've done probably made the card work, because I don't think the problem was a bad solder joint. Alright, I don't like... Oh. Let me pull the chip out of the socket first, so I don't inadvertently solder the chip into the socket. That would be bad, in case it actually turns out that the chip is bad. There's like one solder joint on that socket that I did not like. There we go. That's better. All right. Solder joint now meets my seal of approval. All right. So I guess this is where I'm going to end the stream tonight. So it looks like there are, well, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think, 12 chips that the tester can test, at least. If you're wondering why in the world I skip chips, it's because those are the ones I don't think it supports. Yep. So I guess maybe next time I'll, I don't know. Maybe I might, I don't know, maybe I might try to look at this card some more next Tuesday. Not that I necessarily have all the chips I'd need if they're bad, but yeah, 12 little chips I can test. Because I guess the one thing to do, because I mean, I could pull the 556 off and replace it, just swap it. But anyways, I mean, I guess maybe what I'll do this weekend is see what of these chips I might have on hand. And if I have enough of them on hand, then maybe next Tuesday I'll continue on this card and just one by one remove the chips and test them and put sockets in to be able to replace the chips. Because I suspect the problem lies with this controller card. Do I know that it's these logic chips? No. It could be that EEPROM for all I know, but that EEPROM is not going to be an easy one to test. And it also won't be an easy one to read out. Although maybe someone's read that out already now that I know that this is probably a clone of the Franklin card. So maybe I might actually be able to find the EEPROM image if I think I need to write it. And I think Joe said it should be possible to replace it with a 2716, which at least doesn't require negative 5 volts. But anyways, all right, because I am now getting cold, I am going to go ahead and draw the stream to a close. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know the next time I go live. Because next time, I might continue on this card, because it seems like working on Apple II cards is somewhat interesting. If I can find a schematic for the card, then maybe I could even try to do some more Adrian Black style troubleshooting where you take an oscilloscope to it instead of just pulling chips and testing them. But sort of a schematic of this card, I don't know that I could very effectively start probing with an oscilloscope. Anyways, yeah. Or I might work on something else next Tuesday. We'll see. Depends on what I'm feeling like. If I'm feeling like apples or Commodores or what. Although I really need to get some cap kits before I come back to the Commodores. Anyways, glad you're all here to have some fun with me. I wish I was able to print something that wasn't a whole bunch of lines squished together. I wish that I could have pulled one of these chips out and this controller card that they would test bad and I'd be able to swap it out, but anyways, hope you all, depending on where you are in the country, I know they're calling for snow on the East Coast, so be safe out there. Don't stress, don't work too hard shoveling snow. Be careful, mind your surfaces, because I would like to be able to see you here next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for whatever I decide to work on. So anyways, have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you all here next time. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.